Maybe what we should do is we should find pictures of things that people that look like us doing other things and post them in the collage on the board.
It'd be part of our calendar.
It could be.
A calendar? Well, what?
Yeah.
Well, actually, that would work out really well. 12 months in a year, that'll be 3 pictures each. There you go.
I still want a sleeping Darren calendar.
Well, it's okay. I'm up to at least July with those
August.
photos.
Fuck you.
We got some old films, new films, any kind of shitty films recorded Tuesday night, so it's there in the morning. Least is a shaky ship, surprised he made it through the week, and then he turns his head and find that Darren is snoring. Jim's on the other line, euphemisms all the time, while Mr. Rouse sits around sticking his claws in. Elton's got a heebie-jeebie spinning how he's doing wheelies. Winston's looking sheepish like he pissed on the floor again. All we want is a coronary impression. It's not narcolepsy if it's 1 in the morning.
Hello and welcome to the Black Dog Podcast, episode 351. 351. Yes, 351.
351.
The one after the 350, which wasn't much of a celebration, really.
Not 350 or 352, but 351.
351. That is the number, and the number shall be 351. 355 is right out. Anyway, hello, I'm Lee.
I'm Darren.
Nearly got you.
I'm Jim.
I'm Elton.
And this week we'll be having a little bit of chat, see how everyone's week's been, and then basically move on to our film of this week, which is a pretty new film for us, actually, since we normally do more retro-y stuff. But yes, we are doing Alex Garland's Annihilation. Mm-hmm. Which is on Netflix if you're overseas in the UK and in Europe, or it's in the pictures if you're in China or America. There you go. So before we get to that, let's see how everyone's week's been, and we'll start with you, Jim. How's your week been, sir?
Bit quiet and a bit loud. So we had the sequel to The Beast from the East,
Yes.
Pest from the West.
Yes.
Yep.
Which helpfully managed to start heavily snowing just as I was taking a trip up the road on Saturday to go and see Mr. Gary Newman in concert.
So did he adjust cars to being here in my
Stuck
snowplow?
in my car. I've got frozen doors. I can't get out. I'm stuck in my car. In my car. Dun. Help! Dun. Help!
Yeah, sorry, Jim. Carry on.
Now, apparently, on his Facebook page, he'd post after the gig, going, "Now we're having a very, very slow and careful drive to Manchester."
Yeah. How was he, by the way?
He was very good. It's the third time I've seen him. But yeah, he's a consummate performer. And I mean, when I first saw him, I expected being a synth guy, he'd be behind a keyboard and not moving much, a la Kraftwerk.
Yes.
Pet Shop Boys.
Yeah.
But actually, he's a very, for a man of his age, bloody hell, he's got some moves.
Yeah.
But superb light show and video screens and just absolutely storming. But yes, we ended up having a very, very slow drive back. What's normally about a 25-minute journey took an hour and 40 minutes.
Oh, Jesus.
Very carefully.
Christ.
As even though everyone had been saying the snow's coming, the local councils hadn't actually got their shit together to grit the roads or anything. So,
I'm shocked.
Yeah, I know. So it was slow going.
Oh.
But it was worth it. It was a good, and I'd left the slow cooker on, so we came on to Spicy's chicken stew with Thai
Nice.
chili. That
Lovely.
was good. That was just what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, that sounds good, man. That's what you need. Come home straight into some slow cooking action. Yeah, like that. Nice.
Yeah, that's grown up going to a gig. That is.
Yeah.
Leave some tea on for you when you get in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's that. Yeah. This is definitely turning into the very old man podcast, isn't it? I mean, Do you remember when you used to go to concerts? You used to come back home, and then you'd be coming back home eating like any junk food you could possibly consume on the way because it's the only thing open.
Well, I remember when I went to the OMD concert, how I was looking forward so much to doing myself some toast and having a cup of tea when I got home. while in my slippers and dressing gown.
Yeah.
In my bath chair.
Yeah. Oh dear. I mean, yeah. I was going to say the last concert I went to. God blimey! I think it was the Pink Floyd thing that we went to. You and me.
Really?
At Greenwich.
Yeah, OMD was the last one I went to, which was about 2 months ago. I think it was. So,
yeah.
But I mean that was funny anyway, just because the group themselves kind of they're like we know we're old, so they kind of use that as a thing of humour.
Yeah.
So
not like Dave Gilmour turning up in his fluffy slippers with his slide guitar.
Oh, and his cup of tea on
cup of
cocoa on the Oh, Jesus Christ. He was old back then.
Yeah, I know.
He was old back then when we went to see him in 1994. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, Jim, carry on with this Old Man Reminisces podcast.
Well, other than that, I did some reminiscing myself as I ended up doing a full rewatch of all of Spaced.
Oh, right.
Oh, wow.
It was both wonderful and made me feel old.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was like,
Bitter Mike.
Being in your 20s, it was like that. I remember now.
Yeah. Big banging disco fudge.
Yeah. But we shifted the blues by watching Paddington 2. Far better than that's any right to be.
It was fantastic. That's part of my week, I've got to say.
I will say that, I will say, I think it might be one of the very few sequels that actually is better than the original.
I thought so.
I like the original a hell of a lot.
It was lovely. Just lovely. You just come away from it like a big warm hug, and you're like, oh, this is lovely. So nice. And did it get a bit dusty in Moon Towers?
Yeah, it did a little bit.
Yeah, I thought it did me. It was like sitting there and you're just watching it, and then something happened, and you're just like, nope. I refuse. I shall sit here and think of dead dogs or something, or angry people with sticks.
I need to go and kick a puppy.
Oh dear. Okay, fine. Anything else, sir?
No, I'll leave that. I'll leave that there, as I suspect we might be having a long discussion tonight.
Yes, I think it might be a little bit of a long one. Okie dokie. Well, then on to you then, Elton. How about you, sir?
Well, it's different, shall we say. The highlight of this week was I put up a new light in my bathroom on a Monday where I forgot I had a day off.
I don't know what is the saddest part of that sentence.
What? The light or the forgetting the day off?
Both.
Yeah. I had 2 days carried over from last year, and I was told they had to be booked in by the end of March or else. And so I just chose 2 random days. And it just so happened to be this Monday. And I found out on the Friday that I'd booked it off. So that was a nice little surprise. So I decided I was feeling, weirdly enough, I was feeling really groggy that day. I'd stayed up far too late because, it's a school night and I got the next day off. Brilliant. And it once again, old man fever kicks in. And can't stay up as late as I used to nowadays. Weird.
Really?
But I can stay up. It's the recovery time.
Oh, right.
I just need double recovery time. I should have stayed in bed until around midday, but with kids banging around and doors slamming around, that's never going to happen. And so I had a light to fit in the bathroom, and I had this lovely big light, very expensive, and I thought I'd put it up and put it in, and it all works. Turned it on, and oh my God, it's bright. Right, to the point where you have several shades of white in this world. And I have written down a list. The first one, and the very lowest scale, is Sierra White from the 1980s, which appeared on cars. The next one is, what is it? It's brilliant white paint from B&Q, which is quite white. Then you have Pulsar White, which is found in the deepest mists of the Milky Way. Very bright stuff. Then you have God's Holy Light, which shines upon everything and is the brilliant, brightest thing in the world. Then you now have my bathroom light, which is so painful to actually stand underneath. You can feel yourself shrinking underneath it. It's horrible.
Do you need to actually apply sort of like, factor 400 before you walk into your bathroom?
Do you remember when we reviewed Sunshine and they have that little filter where they turn the up and down the dial of the actual sun itself?
You're looking at...
kind of like that. Someone left the dial up.
Do you often look out into your garden and see like a bunch of blokes in a bunker at the end with glasses on as you switch your bathroom light on?
Right, it's like my whole village just lights up every time I go to a piss.
Yeah, it's like the bomb site at Hiroshima. There's all these black shadows just pasted on the wall. Everyone who went in unprotected, just like flash fried.
So now I've got to get another bathroom light. I just wish I hadn't started. Oh man, and I think because I was feeling groggy, it probably overemphasized the brightness of it. But I've still been in there today, and shit, man, it's so bright. It's so bright, and I've asked everyone in that family, is it all right? And they're squinting, and they're like, yeah, it's all right. It's all right. I reckon God would squint if he walked in there. He'd be like, oh, Jesus Christ, turn it down a little bit.
Well, Jesus Christ wouldn't be doing it. He's too busy elsewhere.
Sorry?
Jesus Christ wouldn't turn it down. He's busy elsewhere.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Why would God want his son in the toilet? That's weird.
It is. So has all your family got irises the sort of size of like tiny pinholes?
We're all turning into albinos very slowly.
You've seen that film Omega Man, haven't you, with Charlton Heston?
No, probably not.
Are you the? Well, I think they're called the Brotherhood.
Yeah.
They've just got mutants. The mutants, all pasty white skin and white hair, and pinpoint, as you say, sort of
pinpoint irises
in their eyes.
Yeah. Can you actually,
family? That's what they call the family.
Can you actually see through your entire body? Do you become translucent, like some sort of jelly man? You can look through your arm. You look through your arm and see your bones, see your bone structure.
Yeah, like some sort of deep sea fish.
Yeah, like a glass fish.
I can guarantee you, right? And if you watch Threads, then the bit when the nuclear weapons actually explode over Sheffield, you're just going to have flashbacks to your bathroom. That's what it's going to be like.
That's it. Every time I pull the handle, it's like.
Yeah,
is it like a magnetic pulse that goes off and takes out all electronic equipment in the local area? They're like radios go off and cars stop working.
Like the beginning of Transformers when that first Transformer turns up.
The Ultra Spark or whatever the fuck they call it.
Now that one where the helicopter sort of comes apart and it becomes the robot the first time you see one, and it just does that pow and everything just goes off.
Oh, didn't Boba Fett have stuff like that in the back of his Slave One with the gravity mines or whatever?
The sonic mines.
Which
don't work in space.
Exactly.
Yeah, but never mind.
But don't say that here. Shut up, that's why.
Yeah, it's too early to play that card, isn't it? Anyway, yes, anything else, Elton?
No. So if you hear a little foof, that's my house just totally imploding through brilliant bright white light.
I've now got the vision of that house.
Poltergeist.
That is exactly what I was going to say, Jim. The house in Poltergeist when it folds up on itself.
Whenever we step out of the toilet, we open the door, and it's like the big long extraterrestrial from Close Encounters walking down the little gangplank.
Yeah. Do you just go into the toilet and go, Marion, keep your eyes shut? Every time you walk in there, it's da, 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 da. Don't look at it, Marion.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah, music going. All these Nazis going, your toilet. melting away. Oh well, there you go. So you got the power of the Ark in your light bulb.
I have, Ark of the Covenant in my toilets, in my airing cupboard.
Yeah, you turn the light off and just hear the sound of a stone gold tablet kind of going back into place.
It's in your airing cupboard, you say? Is that the light bulb? Oh, right. Okay, I was going to say because, when you switch the light on, the clothes dry instantly. Is that it? Are they flash fried?
That's a good idea.
Yeah, but they also change colour to white.
That's everything's white now. This is it. Yeah, don't put any black suits in there; it'll just go white.
Yeah, just nuked bleached.
Yeah,
nice. Yeah, ultraviolet. Yeah, nice.
That's right.
Yeah. Oh, we're being attacked by vampires, kids! Quickly into the toilet. We'll be safe in there. Turn the light on.
So is it an 8,000 watt bulb you've got in there? Then is that what it is?
He's got blue thunder.
Honestly, it's like a police helicopter light. It's fucking immense.
You should at least put like a bat symbol on it. Just beam that up into the sky.
Yeah, I might give that a go.
Oh man.
Well, there you go. All right then. Well, what about you then, Mr. Barnard?
Oh, my week's been quite tame actually compared to that. The excitement of a bright light in a bathroom. It's
really comes to something in it that we used to be that we nearly die on a Segway or glue me arse shut or nail someone's foot to the door or something like this. Now we're all getting excited about bright lights.
Yeah. Not even
right,
in the sky.
For that, I'm not going to take it.
It's come to this.
I'm not going to take it down until you guys come round and check it out, because then you'll be like, oh shit, yeah, it is really fucking bright. Don't put your hands in there, though. Don't let it touch your skin.
My feelings, they're burning. They're burning. What's happened to my feelings?
Did this light come down in a meteorite? Just want to ask this now.
Yeah. Is it? Yeah. Do you go in there and sort of find Screamy the horror bear, sort of kind of going?
I'm now a lighthouse keeper of Great Yeldon.
Nice. Yeah. Isn't Yeldon landlocked? It doesn't matter. You can reach out as far as Ipswich. Oh, keep people safe on the Norfolk Broad shores. Right, anyway, Dow.
Yes.
Go for it. How's your week?
Well, mine's mainly about watching stuff. Okay, so we'll start off with the film that I went to see this week, which was Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider.
The new Tomb Raider.
And how is Tomb Raider?
Well, I always thought that Angelina Jolie just wasn't right for the part of Lara Croft. There's too much of a kind of slightly dark personality in Lara Croft in those films. I don't know, it's just something about her just isn't quite right.
Okay.
In those films.
Okay.
Whereas I thought
Alicia
Vikander was absolutely. I think she was really good as Lara Croft.
Okay.
If we're doing like the matching up of the characters in their respective games at the time, then I think she's kind of nailed.
Yeah.
The character, the actual Lara Croft character.
Cool.
Spot on.
But what about the film? Is the film actually any good though?
The film's good. It's better than the other two that came out. I'll say, because it's a little bit from what I can see, it's a lot more structured than one thing. It's not going to win any Oscars. Basically, it's pretty bog standard stuff. It would have been nice if there'd been a bit more raiding of tombs going on in it, because there's a bit of talky stuff going on. There's a lot of daddy things going on and a lot of resolving issues where her dad's concerned, as in, because anybody who knows anything about Tomb Raider is like, her dad disappears. She's, wondering where he's gone. So like looking to try and find him. And that's one of the main drives behind her in this film. She's off to try and find her dad.
Yeah.
I thought it got better once they got out of England because, and this almost, I mean, it was almost enough to actually put me off of even the character in the game, to tell you the truth. Even though her life in London isn't really mentioned in the games. They turn her into they've got her as a cycle messenger in this,
right?
And
a Deliveroo,
a Deliveroo, and she
lunch raider.
Let's just say it got a little bit hipsterish, which really started. I'm like, oh no. She goes, I think she lives in Shoreditch or something. And it was when that happened, it was like, oh no. And then
rocks up in Hoxton.
This cycle messenger with like a big handlebar moustache shows up, and it's like, oh no.
Old man powers activate.
Old man powers activate. And then this isn't really giving anything away about the film, but there is a bike race in it, and I'm sat there and I'm thinking in my head, you bunch of guns. Just because it's a bike race through London that they do, and it's just riding all over the pavements, not giving a toss. Oh, look at us, aren't we fucking brilliant? And I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, you fucking bunch of wankers. What are you fucking doing?
We're off on that again, aren't we?
Yeah, this is it. It got honestly. When if you see this, if you watch it, you'll see exactly what I mean.
Is she in danger though?
Yeah,
right.
Not her actually. I think the people on the pavement are more in danger because there's like her and 30 cyclists following her, trying to catch her.
But
with this, it's like a fox hunt thing.
So, but she is in danger.
What do you mean?
In the plot, in the reason for the chase.
No. This is a competition that her and her cycle mates decide is going to happen.
Oh,
it's like a fox hunt, and they have to chase her and get the tail off the back of a bike.
Oh,
and it's just you,
right?
Bunch of fucking arseholes.
So okay.
But apart from that, once it gets out of England and it starts going on the trip towards the island, it doesn't follow the actual plot of the game. It does. There is that like the really sort of like nasty looking island as you see at the beginning of the first game or the first new game. But they've scaled it down so she hasn't got like about 6 or 7 mates on this boat. It's just they kind of reel that in a bit. And what I want to know is, why is it in every Tomb Raider film or any film after Indiana Jones that deals with exploring tombs, do they have to have the ominous one bloke controlling it all on the island? The one that the sort of the nutter who's in charge of a bunch of henchmen. You know, he's a little bit deranged. Oh, look at me. I'm a little bit weird and I'm dangerous because look at me, because
I'm staring.
I've got a receding hairline and a beard, and I'm looking at you strangely while and it's just enough now. Can we just not have it as a bunch of mercenaries who are just a bit handy with weapons or are just a bit nasty? Do we have to have the side-eye looking fucking idiot who's dressed in a flannel, who's dressed in a fucking,
polo neck?
All the rest of them are all armoured up with camo and stuff, and he's just like there in his top man, fucking, cream shirt and cream trousers, and I'm looking, where's your Panama hat? So the bad guy, just cookie cutter for this kind of thing. He's not anything special to write home about. The plot, the actual story itself, not exactly, shall we say, going to smack as anybody as original, but it's a vehicle just to get this thing off the ground. Now that it's all been done, I'm looking forward to the sequel because I'm hoping
they'll get on with it.
It gets on with it and does a lot more.
That's the problem, though, with most of these. This is what we're saying on the Facebook group with all the video game stuff. We had a discussion on the Facebook group.
Yes, we did.
Facebook.com/group/The Black Dog Podcast. But if you go on there's a whole thing about what video game would you convert to film. The problem with something like Tomb Raider, though, is Tomb Raider is trying to make you play, effectively, an Indiana Jones game. And the same with Uncharted. So when it kind of gets converted back to cinema, you've got a game ripping off cinema being converted to cinema, so therefore ripping off itself and the source material. So it's going to feel a bit derivative, isn't it?
Yeah, it's what they need to do is with this, they need to try and do. They need to do something other than the standard
magic relic.
No. This is the thing. There's very little mysticism in this. They've tried to make, and it's like, no, you're not getting the art. You're not play the game, and then come back and rewrite this a bit and add some more. Because, if anybody who's played a Tomb Raider game will know that there's stuff in it that's to do with the supernatural. Fuck it. I think it's in the first game, she takes down a Guardian of Atlantis, and it's...
I like you do.
In the very first Tomb Raider game, like the one back in 94. Even in the first game of the new sequence of Lara Croft, the ones that they brought out a few years ago, even that's got elements of the fantastic in it.
Yeah.
So really, for the next one, I want to see that element plugged right in
front
there.
and centre.
Well, yeah, I just want it like as a threat in the background, and then she meets up with it later on. But yeah, just put that in there. Don't make it try and base it too much in reality.
Okay.
Just let's not do that.
That's what they did with the reboot game anyway, though, wasn't it? Really, they tried to knock back the supernatural elements.
No, but there is a supernatural element in that as well.
Yeah.
I won't say where, but she does come up against something that's not human, shall we say.
That's fine. No, I understand that. So, overall, thumbs up or thumbs down?
As a Tomb Raider fan, I would say this one possibly does it more justice than the other two. So, I think they're on the right track, but they just need to...
But we're not going to see like a Marvel comic book style superhero video games kind of explosion.
No.
Anytime soon.
No, I mean, the new one is coming out soon. There is another Lara Croft game coming out, the third one in the series.
Yeah, Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but like I say, I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. Sadler enjoyed it.
Okay.
So,
cool.
Does she use prehensile neck in it much? Like you said in the post?
She has a very long neck. She does have a very long neck.
It's that extra vertebrae.
Yeah, I think so. But two other things I did do this week. I finished Daredevil Season 2, which I have to say I thought was absolutely brilliant. I loved it.
Okay.
Really, really good. Nice way to end the series there. And then I jumped straight on to watch Luke Cage.
Okay.
I'm 3/4 of the way through that, it's brilliant. I love it. It's a really, really good show. I think Mike Coulter plays he certainly plays a different Luke Cage from the ones that I've seen in things like the Jessica Jones comics, the Alias, where he's a bit of a twat in that. He's not. He's just a little bit
up himself, isn't he?
Yeah. Whereas the Luke Cage in this he's actually quite a well-read individual, and he appreciates art and stuff like this, and he certain writers and stuff, and there is a little bit of a discussion in one episode about various writers, which is like, oh, that's nice. Yeah, he's not just some big dumb individual. He's actually got brains.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah, and I do like. I think Mike Coulter's very good in the role anyway. But hello. I'll turn the volume down on my phone.
Yeah, would you?
Yes.
That'd be lovely. Because otherwise, it's either that or we've got a budgerigar in here, and I didn't realise. Yeah. So you watched Luke Cage. You finished it yet?
No, I'm on the last. I'm on the last 4 episodes of it, but it's been consistently good as far as I'm concerned. It's been consistently good all the way through. I love the soundtrack as well. They do kind of showcase various artists, because there is a nightclub that plays quite a central role in all this, and it's the artists that they get in. They get like some new artists, but you also find the Delphonics show up, and they're doing a sort of like they're on stage doing their thing as well. Yeah, and yeah, also the guy who plays the main villain in this, who's known as Cottonmouth, has actually got a bit of a talent. He sits there and he sits there on this organ that he's got in his office, and he sits there and he just like bangs out as a way of helping him think. Yeah, and even that, is superb. I mean, I think something about that, I think it's the Hammond organ or whatever it is they play. It's a very 70s instrument.
Yeah.
And there's something very relaxing about music played on that. It's really, really cool. So I think I may be buying the soundtrack to that at some point.
Yeah, definitely.
And a Hammond organ.
And a Hammond organ.
And a ham and cheese sandwich.
And a ham and cheese sandwich. And a Richie Hammond from Top Gear. Or should we say, though, it's the other show now, isn't it?
Yes.
They're on.
Or a Nicholas Hammond Spider-Man.
Nicholas Hammond Spider-Man. Yes. Did I watch any dodgy films this week? No, I don't think I did.
Browser history.
Check my browser history. Here we go.
No, he's cleared the history. If he's sensible, he'd clear the history. Okay, well, while you're looking, because I think this. I agree with Jim. This might all get a little bit OTT.
I've done my bit now. I'm not saying
okay, cool. Okay,
anything else that is me done.
Yeah, my week was. Well, I'll do the films bit. Did watch Paddington 2, which I thought was just wonderful. I loved it. It's such a lovely film.
I love the first one.
Then you'll love the second one because, quite simply, it's charming and funny, but I mean, Hugh Grant is amazing. Wouldn't you say, Jim? I mean,
he's absolutely superb.
Really?
Yeah. He sends himself up something fucking rotten. Just because he's a sort of like hammy actor who once was like treading the stage and treading the boards, but now is doing dog food commercials. But yeah, I can't say much more than that. But he does do quite a job on himself, and you got to stay through to the end of the credits.
Okay.
You got to stay.
Oh yes.
So. But it's lovely. I mean, seriously, it's one of those films that you watch. What am I looking? Oh, for God's sake! Oh, right, I see. Yeah, it's one of those films that you watch, and as you're watching, you just go, "I love this. I love everything about this." And even all the characters are lovely. Even the bad guys are lovely. There's sequences in a prison which you think are going to go one way, but they don't. They go completely Paddington. I think that's the only way you can say it, isn't it? They go Paddington. You go, oh my God, no, this is gonna end up with Paddington in a body bag or something. You know, and.
It doesn't.
No, it doesn't. And Brendan Gleeson as Knuckles McGinty.
That was just delightful.
Yeah, Knuckles McGinty, and on top of that, he's got Knuckles written on his knuckles, but it's spelt with an N to make it fit on his knuckles. And he's got a space for an apostrophe for Knuckles. But yeah, it's so good. It's lovely film. Absolutely. I wish I'd seen it when it came out of the cinema, because I tell you what, it would have been in my top films of last year, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Well, unlike Red Sparrow, which I watched yesterday. Which is quite possibly the most unspy mastery spy film you've ever seen. It's basically a game of two halves. First half, Jennifer Lawrence goes to whore school.
Okay.
Right? That's the first half. The second half... In
the animated sequence at the beginning, it's a dildo on the fork, isn't it?
It's not far off what comes in on the sausage on the fork comes in. But again, overseas people and people from people of a certain age are going, what the fuck are they talking about? But yeah, so she goes to whore school to be secret spy squirrel Red Sparrow whore.
Yeah.
For the Russian Secret Service.
As you do.
And then the remainder of the film is her on a mission to basically find out a Russian mole in the organization. And she's she's also being recruited by Joel Edgerton's CIA agent who's on the opposite side.
Right.
The only problem is with all of this is, you know, when you watch something like Smiley's People or, you know, or Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy or any of those kind of, you know, or The Night Manager, any of these spycraft, you know, proper John le Carre kind of spycraft kind of things.
And it's funny you should mention the two of those being produced by the BBC, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, three of them.
Three of them, yeah. But when you see them, you know, everyone talks in vagaries and everyone talks, they're saying one thing but they mean another, and they're all being kind of, you know, what's going on and what's the real motivation, you know, and then every now and again there's sort of like rifling through files, finding clues, trying to uncover, trying to get the upper hand on one person or another, that's all spy things. Jennifer Lawrence walks up to him and goes, I am here to get hold of this geezer over here. And Joel Edgerton goes, well, that's handy because I'm the mole's secret contact on the other side. And you're like, did they just give away their entire spycraft not giving away secrets thing? And that's it. Literally, Jennifer Lawrence tells everyone the God's honest truth throughout the entire fucking film, and then everyone's going, oh, she is a clever one. She knows the minds of men. Oh, look how she manipulates people. And you're like, no, she's not. She's not manipulating anyone. And you're sort of left with, who's the spy? Who's the mole they're trying to uncover? There's only 3 other people with speaking parts in this film. It's not hard to whittle down. It really isn't. And it's like, oh my God, it's the most boring, untense spy thriller I have ever bore witness to, with the most dumb spy on both sides. Not just Jennifer Lawrence, it's Joel Edgerton as well, or, you know, Jeremy Irons going, hello, this set tastes lovely, nom nom. It's just, and the film just goes on and on and on. It's like literally trying to demolish your house by shaving it with a fucking toothbrush. You're just like, God almighty, this will wear away eventually, but I'm taking my time. It's just so boring. And it tries every trick in the book to try and make you keep everyone in the audience awake. You know, whether it's some bloke wandering around with his todger out, you know, at the horse school thing where Charlotte Rampling goes, Ivan, take off your clothes. And so Ivan takes off his clothes and he's just standing there with his knob hanging out. He doesn't get a speaking part. This bloke's just standing there with his knob out. And then she turns.
Maybe that's all it is. Maybe that says 1,000 words.
Apparently does.
You know.
And then she turns to Jennifer Lawrence and goes, you must take off your clothes. And Jennifer Lawrence takes off her clothes. And that tends to be it for about 45 minutes. It's like every now and again you just have Jennifer Lawrence just strip. And you think, okay, and that's the problem. If you've got nubile young men and women leaping about all over the place with their bits and tackle and everything flopping about, and, you know, spycraft and all this sort of thing, you think that something would grab your attention, but nothing does. After about the first 5 minutes of it, you're like, the only thing that they get right, or at least get anywhere near interesting, you're right.
Yeah. So what you're saying about the film here, where you're going on about, British spy films, they're all about subtlety and stuff like this, and then you got this American-made one. It kind of just it's like American military operation names and British military operation names.
Yeah.
Now, if you take a British military operation name, I've got some here. I've been looking some up.
Yeah.
Right, and the names we use for our operations, most of them, you wouldn't know what the fuck the operation is, right? Which is kind of the point, because they're supposed to be secret, right? But they give it a random code name, right?
Like broadsword.
Yeah, or like, let's see, Operation Jock Scott.
Okay.
What's that? What does that sound like to you? This is a British operation.
I think that's
1952.
I think that's the
invasion of Glasgow, New Year's Eve.
I was going to say Burns Night, isn't it?
No, it's the British rounding up of suspected insurgents at the beginning of the Mau Mau uprising.
Right.
Okay. So there you go. Right.
Yeah.
Brilliantly thing, and then you get
the American
ones.
Operation Drive into Iraq with a big gun. Operation
Desert Storm. What do you think they're going to be doing in that operation? Let's see, they're in Iraq. Yeah. So they're going to be storming
the desert.
Yeah. Which is what they did.
Yeah. Well, that's Red Sparrow in a nutshell, except unlike Desert Storm, it doesn't feel like it's ever going to end. It just goes on and on and on and on and on.
Haven't got that rather helpful Norman Schwarzkopf sort of like, say, oh, this is how it's going to go.
Yeah, this is how they're going to. Yeah, no, well, that literally they do. They all look at each other and they all just go, I will double cross this person and you will double cross this person and I will look like a good person and you will look like a bad person, but I will get to here and you will get to there. It's like they are literally explaining the plot in front of you. The characters are literally explaining the plot. And the only bit that even remotely worked, and it works in that kind of, oh, no, don't do that, don't do that, is the torture scenes.
Right.
Which seem to be where all the creative juices the director wanted to put forward. That's it. Jennifer Lawrence having sex with hundreds of guys or all over the place, or Joel Edgerton running around with his knob out or whatever. That's all the spycraft, all the seduction stuff that took up the first half of the film, so is kind of implied that it's going to be useful. All that stuff, that all gets like sort of casual short shrift. But when you want to see someone literally skinned by something that's like a razor blade, but like a little spinny sort of like rotary razor.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness me, will you see it? Oh, goodness me, will you go through that ringer? Oh, someone accidentally break their leg? Oh, you will see it. Someone having that leg repaired? You will see it. Someone having their fucking fingers broken with a brick bat through a pillow? Oh, yeah, we'll have that. We'll have some of that. We'll see that in super gory detail. It's like, if you spent as much time fucking about with that as you did with on the plot, you'd probably have a pretty good plot. But you seem to be more interested in, how many green filters can we put on the screen and have a swinging light bulb in the distance and lots of dripping water while Russian people go, you will tell me everything. It's like, of course she will. She's told fucking everyone else everything. You don't need to torture her. Just fucking ask. So yeah, bollocks. It's absolute bollocks. Yeah.
Well, just to cheer you up a bit, you'll be pleased to know that I've actually found a military operation named Generator.
Yeah.
Here.
Go on.
I've just.
Go on.
What? So let's see. You're going to the shops. You're British.
Well,
you're going to the shops. So you should be.
Actually, I was going on Sunday. I went to the shops.
Yeah.
And in my typical fashion of kind of going to the shops and then getting distracted, I actually spent 20 minutes in Tesco's trying to repair the door on the fridge.
Right,
because it wouldn't slide. So what's that? What's my operation?
Your operation then will be Operation Purple Axe.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so there we go.
Operation Purple Axe. Fix the fridge door in Tesco's.
Yes, indeed.
Oh yeah, that was me.
So, because if it was the American one, it will be Operation Screw Fix.
Operation Fridge Door.
Operation Fridge Door. Door fridge.
Door fridge. Fridge-ageddon.
This is great. It just keeps generating 10 names at a time every time you hit that button.
Really?
Yeah. Operation Golden Meteor.
Golden Meteor. Does this link back to Chris Johnson's website or something?
No, but okay. I love it. I'm going to bookmark this.
Cool. Okay, dokie. The only other thing I did was I got involved in... I watched Blade Runner with Katie and Carol.
Okay, and
that was an interesting one. They wanted to watch it so they could watch Blade Runner 2049, which was actually the aim, but we never got round to seeing that. So they wanted to watch the first one. The full and frank review was two lines. First one: this film would be so much better if they turned the fucking lights on. And the second one was, where can I get glowing umbrellas?
Actually, you can buy them.
Well, as I found
Amazon.
out, yeah, Damien Townend on my Facebook wall basically gave me a link.
Yep.
So there you go. That's it.
Can they make it all the way through it, though?
Yeah, just about. Just about. So that was something, I guess.
Thumbs up.
And yeah, other than that, there was a whole thing with me wandering around a kitchen at a guide's disco. I was helping out at a guide's disco, and I got put in charge of the pizzas in the kitchen, which was lovely. Except then this lady turned up who was like a helper, and she was, shall we say, beyond the age of the invention of pizzas.
Really?
And so I spent the whole 2.5 hours putting pizzas in the oven, then having her come across every 2 seconds, opening up the oven door, going, doesn't look like they're done yet, closing the oven door, twiddling knobs on the oven, going, I don't know how these things work. And I say, yeah, that's fine. You just put them up to maximum. The pizzas will take 10 minutes. Oh, is that right? She dodders around the kitchen, goes to the second oven, because there was 2 ovens in this thing, opens that one. They're not done yet. How do these things work? Twiddle a knob, twiddle a knob, twiddle a knob.
Fuck my life.
And I went round, I was literally following around, and then finally I said, I tell you what, we've got lots more pizzas, because we had like about 20 pizzas to get through. I said, look, why don't you take the pizzas out of the wrappers and get them all stacked up and put them in the oven when I take the old ones out? You know, try and get her to do something. So she did that, yeah. And then she puts one pizza in. She goes around, does this all bit again, you know, open up the oven on one, don't understand how the knobs work. Okay, fine, go to the next one, open up the oven, don't understand how the knobs work. Then all of a sudden she goes, oh. I'm like, what? She goes, I think I've put a pizza in with the paper bottom on in the oven.
Fuck.
I'm like, okay, no worries. You know, keep it calm. I'll open up the oven, take the pizza out, and then I'll take the paper off the bottom, put the pizza back in. Not a problem. I open up the oven, I start taking the pizza out. Now, we haven't got hot hands. There's no hot hands in this kitchen, so I'm literally sort of like, I've got like a tea towel on the end of my fingers trying to nip this thing out. I start pulling it out. Suddenly, another set of hands comes in, and she goes, I'll hold on to the pizza, you pull the paper. I'm like, no. You know, you can't do a fucking tea towel trick. You can't do a, you know, on a table, on a pizza in a fucking oven. It's 200 and fucking God knows what degrees in this cocking oven, and I'm just trying to take the bastard thing out and pull the paper off. She's holding it in place, so hoping that I can somehow get my fingers underneath the pizza, which is, you know, as far as my thumb is concerned, on fire, and pull the paper out. Like a sort of like whipping the tablecloth away and leaving the fucking cup standing, like a ta-da. I'm like, no, I've just got to take it out. She's going, it's getting awfully hot, isn't it? He's like, are you torturing me? Are you actually fucking torturing me? It's getting, you know, it would be a shame if this pizza was to sit here and burn cheese onto your thumb while, you know, you could pull the paper out. And I'm like,
I think my question to her would have been, excuse me, can you just tell me this? Just because I'm curious. Do you hurt yourself when you're doing up your shoelaces? How have you managed to cross the road for this entirety of part of your life without getting hit?
I don't know. I just went, just let me take it out. No, it's okay. We can get this up. We can get the paper out quite easily. I'm like, no, we can't. My fucking fingers are on fire. Fuck off.
If you don't fuck off, I'm going to stab you in the face with this fucking spoon.
I'm going to hit you in the face with a pizza.
Yes.
But, yeah, so I literally was woing a passive aggressive stumble around this kitchen, constantly in battle with this woman until I said to her, "Look, make some teas." So she goes, "Okay, I'll go make some teas." I'm like, "Brilliant. Okay, go make some teas." She goes makes teas for the adults who have attended.
Did she keep lifting the pot up top of the pot and going, "Oh, no. It's not boiling yet, is it?"
Oh no. She went out, asked everyone the teas. tea orders, all the adults, all the the people who are looking after the disco, comes back in. She says to me, "Can you just go?" Oops, I've taken my headphones out. She goes, "Can you just,
Fuck off?"
No. She goes, "Can you just check? Can you just check who wants a tea and who wants a coffee?" I went, "Okay." So I went out, asked some very confused people who wanted, who wants tea, who wants coffee. Come back into the kitchen. She's already made it. I'm like, what? I said, there's 3 teas, 2 coffees, 1 with sugar. And she's like, I know. I'm like, what? You know? You're basically blowing me off. You're trying to get me out of the kitchen?
There were 2 of them. There were 2 of them. There were twins. There were 2 of them. It's like that Hot Fuzz thing where you got Bill Bailey and his twin in the office. That's what was happening. There were 2 of them.
I don't know what was going on. I was in a war of attrition.
Thick and thicker.
I was in a war of attrition with an octogenarian. I literally everything. I even got to the point where I was trying to clear out a bin. I'm clearing out a bin. She goes, "Is there any recycle bins here?" I'm like, "No, there's only 1 bin." She goes, "Oh, well, I'm sure there's a recycle bin outside." Okay, fine. Let's go and have a look outside. Went outside. There is 1 recycle bin. She goes, "Okay, there's a recycle bin outside." I went, "Yes, I know. I'm taking the paper and putting it off to one side." She takes everything that I've just separated out that she's made me go out and put it all in the fucking bin. She put it all back in the fucking bin.
Who fucking let this woman in? Did she just go for a fucking day trip from the old people's home and just wind up in the fucking? Did anybody know who she was?
Yeah, they all knew who she was. She's a long time helper of these things.
Long time helper.
I think so. I think Baden Powell gave her a sort of nod.
Isn't it like when the moon gets to a certain point in the sky and it beams down on the school, her spirit she materialises in the grounds of the school? She's like a Dementor from Harry Potter. But
yeah.
It's that she just has to just walk around. It's not like Dementor's kiss thing that she does. She just talks to people. That's what it is. They've got her in Azkaban. They've got her. What it is, the worst case wizards, right? The wizards that have fucked up the worst. They get them to do the pizzas for a school disco, and they have this woman helping them, and it drives them round the fucking bend.
Yeah, it was definitely a war of attrition. I actually thought I was going insane at one point because I couldn't understand why she was asking and doing the same things over and over again. I thought I was in one of those
twins.
I thought it was
triplets.
I thought I was in a time loop. Triplets. I honestly got to a point where I thought I was in Looper or something.
There's 3 of them. There's 3 of them. 3 of them.
Nice. So there you go. So that was my week. But the thing, at the end of it, she left. Did
the moon go behind the clouds?
Yeah.
And she suddenly just vaporised before your eyes.
I turned around and I turned back and the box just fell to the ground.
That was it.
The box of pizzas just fell to the ground. What? Where's she gone? Who?
Oh, no. She's not real. She's a ghost. Yeah, because what one day was, you see, the reason she's a ghost, the reason she died was because she went too close to an oven looking at fucking pizzas, and she opened the wrong oven. There was
caught a burnt piece of paper in the face, and
that was it. It's like the blast from heat of coming out hit her in the face. Oh, this metal's not melted yet, is it?
Yeah.
It was like a fucking smelters she died in, and she haunts the area now.
Yeah. Her spirit will not rest until at least 1 pizza is delivered correctly.
Exactly. If you operate the oven in the school, then she appears.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she was wiped out by some super bright light in Yeldham. Anyway, that was my week.
That was your week.
Yeah, got nothing else to say about that. I think I'll just leave it there. I think there's probably
4 of them.
There were
4 of them.
They were all the same person.
They were from different time periods. It's like the fucking time traveller's wife.
Or maybe,
that's what it was.
Or maybe they were all in my head. Maybe I was the old lady.
Maybe it was, yeah.
Maybe I'm gone. I went Norman Bates on my ass.
It's like Camouflage, that song by Stan Ridgway. That's what it is. And before she died, she said she wants to help out somebody in the kitchen cooking pizzas.
Yeah, it's right. Yeah,
you may be telling true, lad, but this here is camouflage. She passed away last night. In fact, she's been here all week long.
Yeah, she was pulling a palm tree out of the ground and
swatting them Charlies with it. From here the kingdom come.
Anyway, right. Enough. Stop. Right. So, I think we best move on now.
Yes.
And none of us have seen this film before, have we? No. So that's an unusual one for us, I think. So it's time to run the jingle.
Ooh, we're watching a new movie we've never seen before. I'm buttering my nipples and waxing my ass. Roll up the Mystery Monica film. Roll up for the Mystery Monica film. Roll up masturbation for the Mystery Monica film. Roll up for the Mystery Monica film. The Mystery Monica film is waiting for us to hit play. Going to watch it today. What will we say? Hey Pablo, I need a heroin needle and a watermelon.
Right. Okay. So, Annihilation. Yes, Annihilation, the film, not the book, is a 2018 science fiction horror film written and directed by Alex Garland, based on the novel of the same name by Jeff Vandermeer. The film stars Natalie Portman, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Gina Rodriguez, Tessa Thompson, and Tuva Novotny, and Oscar Isaacs, and follows a group of military scientists who enter the Shimmer, a mysterious quarantine zone full of mutating landscape and creatures. The film was released in North America by Paramount Pictures on February 23rd, 2018, and in other markets on March 12th, 2018 by Netflix. It received praise for visuals and performance and direction and thought-provoking and slightly obscure story, but was criticised for its infidelity to the source material. It had a budget of $55 million. And how much has it made to date? Now, bearing in mind it's only been out like less than a month. Darren, do you want to take a guess?
I don't know, 30 million.
Okay. Jim?
20 million.
Elton?
42.
Well, actually, Darren's almost bang on the money. It's 29.6 million to date. There you go. Woo! You win a non-prize. Kudos.
A chocolate biscuit.
A chocolate biscuit.
Oh,
yeah.
thank you. Cheers. Which I can't eat for the next 2 weeks. Yeah, fuck you all.
A full solid chocolate hobnob with extra chocolate and chocolate sprinkles. I might even eat one in front of you. I've got some if you want.
Fuck you.
Shall I eat one? I can dunk one in this tea.
Just think of the smooth chocolate melting.
Smooth and creamy galaxy, dream a little, smooth away.
Hope you get the clap.
Let the world about you melt away.
Darren, just think of that little Caramac bunny laying on her back, snapping open a caramel.
Euphemism.
We're all 34.
You're all 34. Yeah, yeah, that way. Right, moving on.
On the 1st of April, they're going to find me face down, dead in a bowl of fucking the biggest bowl of chocolate mousse in existence.
Face down in some cocoa pops.
Run, I'm full of chocolate.
Right, back to the film. Sorry. In development, in March 2013, it was announced that Paramount Pictures and Scott Rudin Productions had acquired the rights to Annihilation, the first novel in the Jeff Vandermeer's Southern Reach trilogy, and the film would be produced by Scott Rudin and Ellie Bush. Alex Garland was hired to adapt and direct the film the following year, and Garland revealed to Creative Screenwriting that his adaptation was necessarily based only on the first novel of the trilogy. Quoting, "At the point I started working on Annihilation, there was only one of the 3 books out, and I knew that this was planned trilogy by the author, so there was only a manuscript of the first book to work from. I really didn't think too much about having a trilogy." Garland's film is, quote, "an adaptation which is a memory of the book, rather than book-referenced screenwriting to capture the dreamlike nature and tone of his experience of reading Jeff Vandermeer's novel." Prior to its release, the film drew some criticism for the casting of Natalie Portman and Jennifer Jason Leigh as characters who are, in the books, described as an Asian and a half Native American. Garland explained that none of the 5 female characters' ethnicity was revealed in the first book, but only one that became known in the trilogy as the trilogy progressed, and that the script was actually complete before the second book was published. He cast the characters based on his reaction only to the actors he met during the casting process and the actors he'd worked with before, because he wanted to take the story in its own direction. And he did not read the other 2 books while making the film in order not to be influenced by them. The film was released by Paramount in the United States, but Netflix elsewhere, and Garland expressed disappointment with the Netflix release, stating, "We made this film for cinema. I've got no problem with a small screen at all. The best genre pieces I've seen in a long time, such as Handmaid's Tale, were on the small screen. So I think there's incredible potential within that context. If you're doing that, you make it for that medium. And if you think of it in those terms, look, it is what it is. The film is getting a theatrical release in the States, which I'm really pleased about. One of the big pluses of Netflix is that it goes to a lot of people, and you don't have that strange opening weekend thing where you're wondering if anyone's going to turn up and then they don't. It vanishes from the cinema screens in 2 weeks. So it's got pluses and minuses, but from my point of view, the collective of the people who made it, it was made to be seen on the big screen. A little thing that wasn't on the wiki is one of the reasons why it didn't get a big release was because of the film Mother, which Paramount released and took a bath on. So they didn't really want to do that on another weird cerebral film. So that's why they did it, basically. Critical response. On review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes, the film has an approval rating of 87%, an average of 7.6 on Metacritic, with the consensus reading, Annihilation backs up its visuals, sci-fi visual wonders and visceral genre thrills with an impressively ambitious and surprisingly strange exploration of challenging themes that should leave the audience pondering long after the credits roll. Richard Roper of Chicago Sun gave it 4 out of 4 stars, praising it for taking risks and saying kudos to Garland and cast and bravo to Scott Rudin as well. Apparently you knew a masterpiece when you saw it, and you're sure you made sure we were able to see it as well. Writing for Rolling Stone, Pete Travers complimented the cast and the writing and direction, giving the film 3.5 stars out of 4, saying Garland need make no apologies for Annihilation. It's bracing brain teaser with the courage of its own ambiguity. You work out the answers in your own head and in your own time and in your own dreams, where the best puzzles leave things. Nerdist Industries' Carl Anderson said the movie deserves several viewings. Your brain needs its whole attention, and he also commented that the novel had little to do, but was clearly based on something similar to H.P. Lovecraft's 1927 story A Colour Out of Space, which has a meteor that lands in the swamp and unleashes a plague. Chris McCoy of Memphis Flyer also found the film reminiscent of Colour Out of Space, as well as the novel Roadside Picnic and the film adaptation Stalker. 1979. On a negative note, The Economist described the film as a tightrope walking the fine line between open-ended, mind-expanding mystery and lethargic, pretentious twaddle, but praised the final half hour of the film. There you go. So, let's go round the table. What does everyone think of this? let's start with you, Elton. Congratulations. You go first.
Oh, dear. Okay.
I think I don't think you have to worry about it too much, because I think we'll end up all waddling over this thing several times and all wading in. So go for it.
Yeah. Please feel free to, just jump in and destroy what I'm saying or talk over me. I've got no problems in that whatsoever. I found Annihilation interesting. I don't think it's as mind-bending as some people think. There were some things. It looks really pretty. Let's get that out of the way. Looks really pretty. There are some amazing ideas in this as well.
I don't think. Just to say, just for people listening, if you haven't already guessed, there will be spoilers that we are going to be talking about, because we can't really discuss this film without there being spoilers. Because otherwise it's just going to get a bit silly. So if you don't want to know what happens in the film, stop listening right now.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah.
Sorry, Elton. I just needed to jump that in there before you said anything, and people go, "Oh, you've given us a spoiler." It's like, well, yeah, but
they were talking about Annihilation, and they told us what happened in Annihilation. I'm going to send a stern email to them.
Yes, it's like that time I wrote to the BBC about Ghostwatch because it had ghosts in it, and it was called Ghostwatch. I complained greatly. What's all this a ghost in Ghostwatch? What's all that about?
I feel we're skirting around the idea of reviewing this Annihilation.
No, go ahead. Carry on. Sorry, I'll shut the fuck up now.
No. I think he's right, because at some point we're going to disappear down a sort of down a rabbit hole as we all trying to work this shit out.
Yep.
But anyway, go on, Elton, go for it.
Okay, as long as we're all working it out together, I've got no problems in that. I tried to work things out. It bared repeating, definitely. I've seen this twice now. That is only because I watched it the first time, sat there going, well, it's all right. There's a few nice ideas in there. I thought there was some stunning imagery as well, but it wasn't as striking as what I was hoping it would be on the first time round. Second time round, there were a couple other things I picked up on and started going down the rabbit hole a little bit more. But yeah, I think coming out from the second time, I'm still a bit flat on it. I'm hoping this discussion, I'll be jumping up and down by the end of it, going, oh, and another thing, because it was good. I liked it. I just wasn't blown away with it.
Okay, cool. All right,
I wasn't blown away with it.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's do it that way then. Let's just go around sort of general thing, sort of how we felt about it, and then sort of like all pile in on a sort of like trying to pick this thing apart. I think how's that feel for you guys, Jim? You all right?
That's good. Yeah.
Cool. Okay then. Well then let's go for you then, Jim.
Well, it's
overall, yeah.
I liked it. There are aspects of it that I was very impressed with. I was pissed off that I didn't get to see it in the cinema.
Yes.
We watched it on Netflix. It was Sunday night, and the streaming was good. It was smooth, but it was that kind of like, I wish they had this on Blu-ray or on a big cinema screen for it to be really pinch up crikey vision, because you can tell the cinematography is top notch, and particularly in the last act. It still looked beautiful, don't get me wrong, but I'm like, oh damn it, why couldn't we have this at the cinema on a massive screen? This would have been amazing. I felt as I watched the film, I was very much seesawing on it, because I think Alex Garland, you're going to get a certain quality, but I do have issues with Alex Garland.
Okay.
28 Days Later, good film, but didn't quite like the way of kind of him and Danny Boyle said, yes, we've reinvented the zombie genre. And I'm going, yes, you really, have you? Honestly, guys? Because this isn't just George Romero's crazy he's done again, is it? Now, come on, fess up. Oh, but you didn't. The beach is Lord of the Flies with backpacker hipster scumbags.
I quite like that.
Yeah, there's always a certain quality, but I always have that kind of, I've seen this before. This is a remix. Sunshine is a remix. It's the Underworld remix of Event Horizon. No, it's actually probably the Josh Wink remix of Event Horizon, actually. That's probably closer to the mark.
Yeah.
However, his script for Dread, spot on. Ex Machina, that was, Alex has been watching Black Mirror. And it would have been better at Black Mirror length.
Okay.
Whereas this, like, I was watching it, I was sort of seeing going, this is good, but I have this terrible feeling it's going to let me down in the end.
And
I feel it might sort of, build up a big mystery that isn't a fucking mystery at all to anyone who's read a drop of sci-fi.
Yeah.
But it's kind of the last act really actually does pull things together for me. And I came out that was some genuinely top-notch cinema there. And the ending, well, we'll get to the ending.
Yeah.
But I did feel it kind of... I think it's good, but I think there's maybe issues in the pacing. Whether there's a longer cut out there, I don't know. I suspect there might be when it comes out on Blu-ray. And the ending is kind of, at first I was kind of, maybe you should have ended it a bit sooner. But the more I thought about it, the more I kind of, no, actually, I think I quite like it. That's where I am now, 2 days on from digesting. I think I quite like the ending, but that might change. It might change tonight while we discuss it.
Okay, cool.
But Jerry, a thumbs up. It's a good movie. It's definitely worth seeing. I definitely want to see it again because I think there is a lot to unravel. But at the same time, like Elton says, I don't think there's actually quite as much to unravel, maybe, as some people make out there is. I think most of it's fairly straightforward, apart from a couple of big questions.
Yeah, I think I was going to just go off on one there, and I was like looking at Mr. B and thinking, no, I've got to ask him first how would he thought of it, because it's only fair. But we'll get to that in a minute, actually. So, sir, what did you think of it?
I really liked it.
Yeah,
yeah. It for me. I don't know about anybody else. I don't care if anybody else guessed the ending coming a mile off or whatever.
That's cool.
For me, it was a totally random journey.
Yes.
There was stuff in there. It was the whole thing of, it was a truly unexpected, like the scientists that go in not knowing what to expect. That was me, and I got what I wanted from this.
Yeah.
Which was a totally... It was the events, the things that they come across matched, I thought personally, what the zone was supposed to be, which was totally unknown. I mean, come on. It's like you've got a mutated bear that uses the voice of its last victim to draw in other victims. Fuck me, how dark is that? How fucking dark is that?
Screamy the bear.
Screamy the bear with using the voice of the last person it ate. It's just...
Face McGinty is He-Man. He now has his battle cat.
He certainly fucking does. That whole bit in the house when they're all tied to chairs and the bear is just slowly walking around them, and it's opening its mouth and you just hear the slight scream of the member of the group.
Yeah,
and that's beautiful. It's just, that's great. I love that. I mean, I'm a fan of things like Roadside Picnic, Stalker, and the game Stalker as well, which is of course based on Roadside Picnic. That sort of, whether people really use their imagination and stuff. What random shit can we put in there that we don't have to explain any of this? Let's just go to town. Crystal trees. People made of, it's like plants that grow or supposedly grow in the shape of people, but then you realise in one scene that no, they don't grow in the shape of people. That is the people.
Is it though?
Yes.
Oh okay.
No, you did. That's it. That's what happens.
You see it happen to Tessa Thompson, but you don't necessarily.
So why wouldn't it happen to the rest of them like that? Why would it grow like that? She got it incorrect. That's it, and she kind of realises that by the end.
Okay,
because you see it slowly, and then it's getting around the corner, and it's like there's a field of these people.
Yeah, where's she gone?
Exactly.
Cool.
You know?
Okay. I tell you what, just because I know you're kind of itching to go at it, and I don't. I just want to say my bit, and then we'll really go at it because I just think there's lots I want to just go. Oh yeah, and
okay, but can I just say,
go for it?
I was totally satisfied by the ending.
Yeah.
I just love the whole thing. It works. That's it for me.
Alien Nation interpretive dance is all good for you, yeah?
Yeah, it's good. It's all good. The whole thing was good.
Cool. I mean, for me, I loved it. I thought it was kind of slightly emotionless, which is another thing that you can level at like things like Ex Machina. And I don't know if that's just an Alex Garland thing or what, but there was slight lack of emotion in certain places where I thought it needed it. But I thought that the ideas were intriguing. I thought that the themes underneath were open to interpretation. I know what Jim and Elton were saying like, actually, it's a bit more laid out and clear than clear cut, but I've got a few ideas. I might be borrowing Elton's tinfoil hat for this one. So overall, I liked it. I thought all the acting was solid. Though crazy lady going crazy before Screamy the bear turns up was a little bit too sort of turning on a dime for the hard nut of the crew.
I have questions about the makeup of the crew anyway, but
we'll get to that in a minute. So but overall, thumbs up. I will say that, and then we'll go into a bit more discussion about it. But overall, I think I just echo everyone else's sentiment. I think it's got tinges of 2001 in it. It's got tinges of body horror. Invasion of Body Snatchers. Stalker has already been mentioned. It's got little nods towards things like The Fly. It's got, messing with nature, sort of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. It's got all this other stuff going on in it, and it's got these bigger sort of SF ideas floating around in the outside of it. So it might not. I can see how people are railing against it because I know that there's a few bits and pieces which do have that sense of pretension about them, like the interpretive dance scene. And as the reviewers say, and as Jim pointed out to us before we started recording, there's hints of Lovecraft in there and all that kind of stuff. When
you say interpretive dance scene, which bit are you talking about?
The silver version of sort of. Natalie Portman jumps left, Silverman jumps left. Natalie Portman punches the man stands still and punches her back, and then it's sort of like she turns and it turns, and then she stands and she stops and it moves, and it's sort of like it's mirroring her moves, but it's always slightly out of time. And it was just like, so she's doing this kind of dance routine effectively, and the thing's kind of following her. But anyway, so let's get into this. Now, if you don't want to know any more about it, I think we kind of have stayed relatively spoiler-free, except for Screamy the bear.
Yeah.
And, you can probably stop right there, and we'll see you next week. If you have gone on this far and you want to carry on, and we are going to spoil the fuck out of it, you've been warned.
I think it would be a shame if you listened to this first and then went and watched it.
Yeah.
I think you should just go and watch it and make up your own mind and then come back.
Okay, so going onwards then.
Yeah.
I mean, firstly, the one thing what do we see it, am I overthinking things by saying that there is a lot more to this than just it's a shimmer, it's a thing that weird things happen in? Or is there what themes could you see in this film? We'll go around the table. We'll start with you, Dal. Are there themes in this? Is there something you can see in it? How do you think it? What do you think it all means? Is basically what I'm getting to.
Well, I love the fact that there is no invasion mission that this thing is on. It just happens. That's it. It's just
does what it does.
It's a part of the nature of the universe. It's this inexplicable sort of force, this being, whatever you want to call it, whether it's a living organism that came down and just started changing things. I mean, in a way, you've got to ask yourself, going on the fact that there are some people who say that the human race didn't originate here. I mean, could that mean to say that it's saying that maybe this happened once before and this is why we're here? Maybe this is why the apes... They always say about the missing link. So what if the apes were mutated enough that we came out of this and this is the second event and it's changing it even more?
Okay. And is that something you see as a theme in the film?
I see it as a possibility, as an idea of just listening to... It's just sitting here thinking about it. It's like, well... there is that. There is a thing about human evolution. There's that missing part of it.
So this is Prometheus done right?
This is Prometheus done right, yeah. There's no big explanations about what is going on. They do the whole thing about the cell dividing and they explain that. But it's the fact that they're in a constant state of flux. The actual mutations are always happening until they can't happen anymore. It's as if it's mutating to the point of destruction. Because I think that is part of that in there anyway. It's like an out of control evolution.
Okay.
But it's just like the snake eating itself like she's got on her arm.
Well, hold on, hang about. That didn't initially start off on her arm.
No, it didn't.
He started off. Am I the only one? Well, clearly, I'm not the only one who noticed that.
Yeah, I spotted that as well. Isn't that actually on the guy with the magic dancing intestines on? It's on his arm originally. That's when you first see it.
That's right. And then the second time you see it, it's actually on the lady who gets done by Screamy the bear. And then the next time you see it, it's on Crazy Lady Goes Crazy before Screamy the Bear gets involved.
Yeah.
It's on her arm.
Let's have a look at that about the makeup of the crew.
Okay.
Really, you have someone who's obviously had... you got one member of the crew who's obviously had a few mental health problems in the past. Okay, you're sending that person into a totally unknown situation. Is that wise?
Right. Okay. I tell you what. Hold that thought, because I'll get Jim and Elton on this one, because I've got a thought on that.
Yeah. It's also to do. I'm talking about Tessa.
Tessa Thompson,
who's obviously had, because they talk about the fact that she's got marks on her arm.
Yeah.
And then you've also got the soldier that goes in with them, who goes, the Screamy the Bear's second victim, basically. Your psych evaluations weren't really that brilliant.
Yeah.
If this person, one thing happens and it's like she's denying what's in front of her eyes. It's just...
Well, you did see a man basically come out of a fungus anus, spread all up the inside of a swimming pool wall.
But you can see it on the video. She's going, it's a trick of the light, trick of the light. It's like, no, it's not a trick of the light. This is the thing. This is not a trick of the light. And it's just that level of denial through something that's quite plainly presented right in front of you says to me somebody wasn't doing their job properly when they picked her for the mission.
well, I think someone was, but that's... I'll stop you right there, because I don't know if I'm getting a sense, I'm listening to sort of sucking in through the teeth, so I suspect Jim's got something on this.
Okay.
Am I right? What do you think about the crew?
Well, that is kind of, I mean, that was one of my issues with it while I was watching it. It was kind of, who on earth put this crew together?
Yeah.
This is like massive incompetence, surely.
Really? Because okay,
but
remember, this is by the end, 3 or 4 crews down, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's been 3 years. How many crews have they sent in?
14, wasn't it, by the end?
Yeah, so it was a lot of, and it is kind of. But I think when you learn more about Jennifer Jason Leigh's character and her outlook, it's kind of. I think this was a hand-picked crew for her own ends, and it's one of those things in this film that kind of. I was watching it, I was sort of seesawing on a bit, going, "Okay, I've got an issue with that, but let's just see where it goes. Let's not just jump the gun." And it paid off, and it kind of in the last third. Pieces of the puzzle fit together, and you go, yes, that makes sense. Yep, fine, happy with that now. Yep, I'm good. Okay. Which is nice when a film can do that. I think actually, where it can, it's clearly. I don't know whether this is from the. I mean, I've not read the original novel.
Well, in the original novel,
I do plan to, but it's kind of is that that's clever storytelling. It's treating the audience with enough smarts to say that kind of, if you've got half a brain, you're going to be wondering about the makeup of this crew. Why these individuals are all, shall we say, on the edge in one way or another.
Yeah.
But then there is a reason for that. And it's this, and that's one of the big themes that I get this idea of the self-destructive the self-destructive trait of, and is it like an inbuilt thing? Is it kind of like psychologically, like the aging process that Natalie Portman talks about?
Yeah. I mean, go on, sorry.
Yeah, go.
No. I mean, I was going to say the thing. Yeah, someone's hit the gin already.
Sorry, I didn't mean that.
I mean, the thing I was getting from it was that the crew were picked because they had nothing to lose, but they had everything to gain from going into there. They were, all of them in some way were seeking answers, and in some way they were all self-destructive, and in many ways their internal lack of concern for themselves, of they've got nothing else to go for, almost allowed them to get further into the shimmer than anywhere else, because in the Oscar Isaac character, for example, when he comes to face his clone, he does that whole, I don't understand what's real anymore, I don't understand sense of self, I'm breaking down, I don't know what's going on, and he ends up basically blowing himself up with that flashbang. Because he doesn't know.
A phosphorus grenade.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But he doesn't know whether he's him or the clone that's standing in front of him is him, and he's lost all sense of self. Whereas the 4 women going in there have lost everything. They know who they are. They've been through the fire. They've been forged in this kind of, with various forms of loss, and they're all going in there because A, they've got nothing to lose, and B, they're all looking for some kind of meaning, which is very personal to them. And in some ways, I'm not saying that everyone knew what was going to be at the end of the journey, but my point is that when they go in there, they're accepting of it, whereas everyone else in there is but it's the Oscar Isaacson is the bit of the thing that trips this up. Well, no, because the thing with Oscar Isaac's character is exactly that. Though, as soon as he starts to lose a sense of self, as soon as he starts to panic, and he's gone in there.
Right, forget that. Forget what you know that you saw on screen, right? You are not the people that are on the outside of the Shimmer that are organising the mission. They don't know. Right?
No.
They sent in somebody they thought was a completely stable person, right? Now, before the women go in, he turns up a complete and utter mess.
Because he knows about the affair with Natalie Portman.
It's not only that. Look at him. He doesn't even he hardly knows what's going on now. As far as they're concerned, this is the same person that went in. Now look at him. He's completely changed. It's just he's out of his mind. So taking that and then looking at the individuals they've got going in, shouldn't somebody have maybe raised a concern about that?
No, but, and again, Jim, Elton, feel free to jump in on this, but the reason that it's easy to assume that he got out because he had some damage. He was damaged goods because the reason he was taking those things and fucking off into the Shimmer, which is shown in the flashback, is that Natalie Portman knows that he knows about the affair. He knows about the infidelity. He has basically, he just gets a call to go into some suicide mission in somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and he just like, yeah, you know what, got nothing to go for now, so in I go. And they know about it. The team in his crew know about it. Yet they know he's damaged. They let him go into this Shimmer, and the damaged one, is the only one that comes out. Logically, you can say, well, if that's the case, you've got to start finding people who are, why did this lot not make it out except for him?
So what you're trying to say is it's people who, it's all to do with the way the brain reacts to what it sees in front of it. And if you are of, shall we say, let's do a general blanket thing. If you are considered to be stable, that is not the right sort of brain wiring to send in to that situation.
No, exactly, because the thing is, what is the Shimmer doing? It's breaking things down. It's rebuilding them. It's taking everything and refocusing it with a different purpose, trying to use it again, and it's only using essentially pure materials. It's taking things and it's trying to mix them together. And whenever someone finds a bit of peace, like with Tessa Thompson, that's when the Shimmer has you. That's when once you kind of sorted everything, once you've reached like a kind of like, I'm chill with everything, I'm not breaking down anymore, I've not had enough, I can see my point in the world, suddenly, bling, the Shimmer's got you, you've turned into something else. And, and it happens with Jennifer Jason Leigh. She's got cancer. She's kind of given up to herself. She kind of gets to the center of the Shimmer. She finally just sees, this is my purpose. I'm here to sort of help push the Shimmer forward. Actually, you know what? I'm fine with that. Bang, off she goes. And it's only Natalie Portman who's kind of like still fucked up and broken up, and then when she sees Oscar Isaacs, it just brings it all back to her. The only time she finally succumbs to the Shimmer is when finally she meets Oscar Isaacs again in the base at the end. She meets him, she's made a peace with it, and then changed. So the whole point, it's kind of, in some ways, the Shimmer is, and I don't want to say this because I know there's a few people who might get triggered by this kind of discussion right now, but it's an analogy for cancer. It's literally something that it's mindless, it's out of control, and it's only doing stuff to healthy material. It's something that's not useful to it, not healthy. It just ignores it, works around it. But anything that is healthy, we'll have that, turn it into crystal, turn it into that, turn it into this, something else, bang, 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 breaks everything down.
Well, what about...
That's how it works, though, isn't it? It takes something, it replicates it, and then moves on, and the original is destroyed. And that's what I thought happened with Oscar Isaac.
Yeah.
The original went in, set himself on fire with that grenade, and the duplicate from the Shimmer born from the Shimmer, walked out.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that the team at Area X didn't know that. They just knew that the one bit of damaged goods going in is the one bit that walked out. They didn't know the interim bit, and you can see why that would suddenly be like, well, if that's the case, especially Jennifer Jason Leigh being in charge of the thing, she's the psychiatrist, and that's she's picking everyone, and she's the psychiatrist. It isn't too much of a leap to say, well, what's the difference between that guy and the rest of his team?
Can I just ask, going back to your point about the fact that the Shimmer ignores that's not good material and
just
goes,
yeah.
So how do you explain Jennifer Jason Leigh then? Because it uses her at the end of it. It turns her into it. She literally turns inside out. It uses her,
just burns her up.
But she's got cancer, so
yeah. But when I'm talking about it, I'm not talking about physical imperfection in terms of her, in terms of the team. I'm talking about mentally in that term. I mean, maybe I'm talking out my arse. I don't know. Maybe I'm just overthinking
interpretation. It doesn't matter.
But my point is to take something to duplicate it. It needs something healthy to do that. It needs something, and how it defines healthy, I don't know. But
I don't think it needs anything healthy. I like this panspermia idea that happens with this, and I don't think. Imagine this enveloped the whole world. I don't think that could be possibly a bad thing. It's just change, isn't it?
But it's out of control change, which is why I think it's an analogy for cancer, for example. It's something that does something mindlessly, but does it with no real purpose beyond replicating itself. It's trying different ways to do that.
On the outside of the Shimmer, does it seem hectic and crazy? Now, when Natalie Portman was walking around in the Shimmer, to me, it seemed quite a nice, beautiful place to be.
Except for Screamy the Death Bear, but
Yeah, but then, okay, right, you see the deer that are fart-arsing around there in pairs, and it's obviously been cloned and changed, but then it's still living on, isn't it?
It's as if it's a hive mind that's operating those deer, because you see they move exactly alike. At the same time, they make the same movements. And if you look at that, where she sees one, all of a sudden it's like cell division. Another one suddenly, it's as if it morphs out of it. It looks slightly different, but the movements, it's like, a mirror image. It makes the same movement as the one in front of it. It's
just blindly
exactly it.
It's blindly copying things.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, obviously, what happens is, copy the wrong thing. That's what I'm saying when I said about that. When people make peace with themselves, that's when the Shimmer has you. Because in terms of Oscar Isaacs, he basically blows himself up, and his duplicate is incomplete. His duplicate doesn't work, and the same goes for the Natalie Portman duplicate. The Silver Man dance troupe. It literally seems okay for a while, but then eventually it's able to be fooled into holding onto the phosphorus grenade and blow itself up and take out the Shimmer with it. It's only when she and the Oscar Isaacs clone come together and they both make peace with it that suddenly that's when the Shimmer gets her, or at least affects her. Finally, she succumbs to whatever change is happening. Because she's perfectly lucid and she's perfectly fine and everything's okay, and then all of a sudden it's like, gotcha.
Yeah, she lets down her guard.
She stopped being mentally damaged.
Or maybe the reason that her eyes light up at the end, it does exactly the same as Oscar Isaacson, is because the actual Shimmer is carrying on within her and Isaacson's character. So they've not destroyed the Shimmer. she's brought it with her.
Yeah. And the shimmer's going to grow. The shimmer's going to progress on through those two.
Again, going on about mutation and evolution. What if this is the evolution of the shimmer itself?
Possibly.
It's like fighting a disease. It's that whole thing of it's been attacked and it's adapted to that attack by taking on a totally different form to what it was before.
I mean, yeah, I think...
Yeah, and another part lives on dormant until necessary, when it can then adapt again.
I mean, there's a lot of symbolism about blending of random elements. There's lots of that going on as well, to just make something new. I mean, the key scene is again, Jim, feel free to jump in on any of this, Gubbins. I know I'm just waffling on the top of my head, but there's the scene when she meets Isaacs for the first time after he's come back, and it's very, very deliberate that you see the glass of water, and you see them holding their hands and they're rolling their fingers together through the lens of the glass.
Yeah,
and you can't tell whose fingers are whose, what's where, and it's only once they kind of when they can't, when he says the wrong thing and she just recoils and it sort of brings all the bad memories back, they separate, and then it's like suddenly you can see what's going on. Tessa Thompson later on says that the shimmer is actually refracting DNA. It's taking things and just merging them together without rhyme or reason. It's just literally like a lens. And that's exactly what the glass is doing. That's what the glass symbolises. And then later on you see, earlier on you see Oscar Isaacs sort of, he brings the water up to his lips, and then all of a sudden, as soon as he puts it to his lips, he suddenly starts bleeding, and it doesn't work because something's going horribly wrong. But also you see later on with what's her face, with Natalie Portman, that she's all about the glasses of water when she's come back. There seems to be something he's saying that Garland or Vandermeer is saying about, like, the fact that, it's how you're perceiving things. When you're looking through the lens of the water, you're seeing things in a slightly distorted way. But is that, I don't know, is there something to that? Or am I overthinking it? I mean, feel free, please, someone rescue me from this rabbit hole.
No, I think the going on what Tessa's character says, I mean, as you say, the glass of water itself does that job. The answer is there, really, right in front of you.
Isn't what she says wrong, though, the idea of the refraction? I think they're thinking, as they're going in, this is some sort of, crazy space disease / fungus that just scrambles DNA. But there's actually... there's far more to it. There is an alien sentience to it, as you find out at the lighthouse.
But is that an actual... Sorry, go on.
Well, I think it is, because the question is why does Kane stabilize once the main sort of shimmer nest has been destroyed? And I think it's because at that point it's in Natalie Portman. And what it actually needs to replicate properly in this world, without having just to have this bubble where it's screwing around with things and finding its feet, is it needs a breeding pair.
Yeah. Yeah. And it needs her to accept the whole thing. And so, so the shimmer has basically transferred its own DNA into the sort of gene pool almost.
Yep. And that's why at first, at the end, where she sort of gives it the bait and switch almost with the phosphorus grenade, it was kind of, it's just going to copy it's setting everything on fire because it's copying the fire. But when she gets back in that final scene, that started me thinking. I'm thinking, no, at that point, it had done what it needed to. It didn't need this big magic bubble of reality warping anymore.
That's
that kind of I see that as kind of like a nursery bubble for it. and it's been going around learning what things are, what they do.
Yeah, playing with
it. Could possibly have felt the Oscar Isaac's walk out of there and know exactly, okay, well, if I remove that bubble, now Natalie Portman will go off and meet up with him.
What, beforehand or after? After she's been in the Shimmer.
Well, I think you got to look at the Shimmer as a living organism itself. And then once it must be how to maybe feel Oscar Isaac's leave that. And so it knows, okay, I've infected, changed, manipulated, or whatever you want to say about this organism. And that's left and that's out in the wild now. And once I get another set disappearing off into the wild, then that's it. There's no need. My job is done.
See, because this is all cool. I don't have anything to disprove that or go against it. But the one thing I got the sense of was the fact that the Shimmer is just working out of instinct. It's not working with any kind of consciousness. I never really got that. I thought that it kind of any consciousness or any purpose, rather than something just predetermined, where it just suddenly decides to do something, came from when it would absorb a living thing with its own set of rules and purpose. So the scene with the phosphorus grenade with where Portman does the sort of bait and switch, I saw the way that it sort of set itself on fire and then went back into the nest effectively and burnt itself to the ground was actually taking all the self-destructive, the copy of the self-destructive impulses that she had in the first place, and then sort of instinctively doing what she's been sort of in her head doing for the whole film, just throwing what she's got left to the wind and sort of burning it all down, and these impulses that she's had inside her, and then they've got duplicated and it's gone, well, fuck it, that's what I'm supposed to be doing, yay. It's got no understanding of what it's doing. It's just taken what she's been feeling and just interpreted that into something that this is what humans do, and just walked off with the flames and walked straight into the heart of the problem and just burnt it all to the ground. So it seemed very symbolic of her just kind of, again, going back to the finale where she literally walks in, sees Isaacs and succumbs to the Shimmer. It's that whole thing of once, she's got to literally get over it, as for want of a better term. She's got to just give all this stuff up, and in her mind she wants to burn it all to the ground. She wants to rage against everything she's done, and and that just transfers to this clone. And when the clone sort of gets the option to burn it to the ground, it just kind of like, yep, that's what we do, and do, and it has no understanding of what it's doing. It's just taking some memory engram imprint and just fucking off and doing what it feels that the copy would have done. But
impulsive reaction.
Yeah, exactly. Without understanding. Going back to the cancer thing, it's just an unthinking thing that just does its thing. And so, only takes direction from the thing it's duplicating. And, it's duplicated someone who's emotionally damaged, who, like I say, the whole team was going in there almost on a suicide mission. What makes you think that after 14 teams have gone in there that this team's going to be any different? And so, the only difference being that, the one person who came out was psychologically traumatized when he went in.
Yeah. Do you think, with all the characters in there, do you think that their DNA was shifting violently? As in, 1 minute it'll be there. I'm building up to something. Don't worry. It'll be all of their DNA, and then all of a sudden the Shimmer would rapidly change their DNA, and they were constantly evolving, constantly changing in and fluxing with different levels of the Shimmer in them, and their own DNA in there, because that's that what I'm thinking of, that's how the tattoo got around. And also, if there's some imagery there with the flashlights, and there's a bit of lens flare as well, and it'll be horizontal across the screen, and it seemed to be in line with all the characters, and you could almost judge how infected they were by the lens flare that was on them. And it was really interesting to watch. You know the lady Anna, who flipped out.
Yeah.
When she took them all and laid them up on the chairs and tied them up, and she was fluxing in between whether she was almost internally fighting with what was going on around her and inside her. And then she'll have like a wave of consciousness of, no, I need to cut inside you and let's find out what's inside you. Will we find snakes inside you? And as she stood up, you got the flashlight behind her, and the lens flare was almost giving you a level of how much of her own DNA is inside her. Whereas the same lens flare was almost covering all the other guys sat on the chairs. And that was a constant thing going across that film. If you watch just the where the flashlights are posted and the lens flare and how it cuts and cuts into the people, it's almost an indication of levels of what's going on inside their bodies.
Like the dark lines in the photos of The Omen.
Yes, good point. I mean, I hadn't noticed the lens flares, I'll be honest with you. I was too busy being shit scared of a huge faceless bear that screamed like a human woman. That was a bit much. And a shark-toothed crocodile. Yeah, I mean, I did. I mean, there was lots of symbolism going on. I'll be honest with you. That so much of it, I probably need to watch it again to pick it all up.
So I was looking at the water first time round. I was looking at the glasses of water. There was when they got to their first HQ, there was a big bottle of water as well, and that was all maybe 2/3 of the way down. I thought that might be indicating something, but then again, maybe I was just reading something into that. But then you had the water in the swimming pool, which was nice and fresh and clear when they were cutting the guy open.
Yeah,
and yet when they found that beautiful skeleton and the way the plants had grown out from that guy's body, it was all murky and horrible. But that imagery of that guy and the way that they used his body in that was stunning.
Yeah,
absolutely stunning.
Yeah. Do you think that was how they set him up, or did you think that just grew out of him? That just how his body was repurposed by the shimmer?
I see that as it's like a mouldy bit of bread.
Yeah,
you just leave it there; it's going to grow.
Yeah,
and where they've exposed his innards, then okay, now you've got another pathway to grow out. And that's the way I just love the way he took his head off as well. But I thought that was just stunning.
Just left it
up.
There
was also
go on
just before they walked into the HQ as well. You saw all that the fungus or whatever it was growing on the walls. Now, did you see the shape of that fungus? It was almost like a plan of the Earth. You could make out America, you can make out Russia, and you can make out Europe, etc. Maybe I'm just reading too much into that. I don't know, but I was just looking for these little symbols. But it looks like the Earth.
Well, do you think maybe that? Sorry, you got me thinking now. I'm starting to turn around to start typing in symbology in this thing. But do you think that? And I know I'm just trying to shoehorn my mental state equals results kind of thing, but could that have come from the soldiers? Because I mean, the ones who were in there had done multiple tours around the world, and that even got mentioned.
Possibly.
In which case, someone's just thinking.
Think about that.
You know, that was the whole point. They were like a special ops team that go to all these different places around the world to fix things, and you know, that's just
and it learns from that. Yeah.
Again, just going back to the whole thing with the garden of the garden of flower people, that whole thing there, which was just, super creepy. But, that whole thing of the shimmer doesn't understand what it's looking at. It's just replicating what it finds without understanding what it's doing. It's just doing it. And, a symbol of the earth. Maybe that's what's going through the mind of a team going worldwide. They're a worldwide, special forces team. So there's a symbol of the earth on the wall of the swimming pool in fungus.
Yeah.
So I don't know, Jim. Sorry, you got something.
Well, I think a key question is, I'd just like to just throw in for the group, is that tattoo, did it actually come from a soldier? Or is that its mark? Because that Ouroboros tattoo is a bit of an odd thing for a grunt to have. The alchemical symbol for eternity.
Yeah, I must admit.
Constant rebirth. And the fact it's, of all the weird random stuff that apparently seemingly random stuff that's going on, it's leaving that very distinct calling card, and that's being transferred from person to person.
Yeah, because when we got that scene in the lighthouse and Jennifer Jason Leigh is torn apart and becomes that what I can only call nucleic chaos floating in midair. At that moment, for a moment, I thought I understood exactly what the shimmer was, and I even knew its name. And its name is Azathoth, which is the true demon sultan ruler of the universe from Lovecraft, who is described as idiot chaos. It is monstrous nuclear confusion. All our reality is just random things spawned by Azathoth, according to Lovecraft. Well, that random chaos and confusion just sounds like a perfect encapsulation of what the shimmer was.
There's a poem from Lovecraft I will now quote.
Go for
about
it.
The coming of Azathoth. It says, "The ground was cleft, and mad auroras rolled down on the quaking citadels of man. Then crushing what he chanced to mould in play, the idiot chaos blew Earth's dust away."
And that pretty much covers it all, doesn't it?
I think so. I mean, this story draws so heavily on the colour from outer space. It's untrue, because the idea of the colour from outer space is literally this alien life form that is a colour. It is a colour not in our spectrum, and it infects the entire landscape. It starts warping people in a similar way here. But the idea is just some sort of genetic mutation, as in this film, is almost a red herring, because there's also an aspect of reality itself gets bent, of trees. Yeah. Trees move when there's no breeze. People can hear strange voices and weird chanting, having weird visions. And the purpose of the colour is to absorb things, to get enough energy to shoot itself back off to space, land on some other poor fucking planet and ravage that as well.
Right, yeah.
And I see the idea of the whole shimmer thing is it's fell to Earth. It's a seed of Azathoth, as it were, and it's stabilizing, it's warping reality. It's not just DNA being shifted. That thing about refracting DNA, that's bollocks, because it's rippling right through reality. It's causing ripples in consciousness, in perception, as well as on a physical level in DNA. And essentially, once it has a breeding pair, as it were, the whole bubble thing isn't necessary anymore. And they, I don't know what happens in the other two books in the series. I've not really wanted to look, so I want to read the original novel, and then I'll get to that when I get to that. And I could be barking entirely the wrong tree. Well, if anyone's read the trilogy, but you know what I mean. Just as this is a standalone sort of story, it's kind of, I think at the end, that idea that Cain isn't surviving terribly well. He's still his body's still in rebellion and chaos when Portman goes into the shimmer. But once that shimmer bubble is collapse, then he stabilizes when she gets out.
Yeah.
And it is kind of, yes, we have the breeding pair for the next stage.
Yeah.
Whatever that will be. I don't think it'll be pretty, but it won't be this kind of sort of, random, just, mixing things up, seeing what stuff does sort of stage that we've seen so far.
Yeah. I mean, go on.
Thinking about the way the shimmer works and what we've been talking about here. Do we view the shimmer as, and this is thinking about the end of the film, do we view the shimmer as a womb? Because it gives birth in the end to Natalie Portman's change, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's, kind of.
I mean, of course, when a baby's born, the
like
waters break.
Amniotic sac, I think
that's it, an amniotic sac, and it breaks, it breaks down, waters come out, and the baby's born. So maybe the whole thing of it going up in flames is a bit like that. The waters break, everything disappears, and what's left is this totally changed Natalie Portman.
Yeah, you're almost referring to something like in 2001, with Dave Bowman turning into the baby, and then that's your next step. That's your next step of evolution, moving on, sort of thing.
Well, there's also another film. I think it was called Colossus. Jim, you'll probably back me up on this one. It's about the computer that takes
Project.
Yeah, the one that takes over the home.
Oh, Demon Seed.
Demon Seed. That's it.
Yes, yeah.
And at the end of that, the child is born, and then it's not quite right because it opens its mouth and speaks.
Yeah, in the voice of Robert Vaughn.
Yeah, exactly.
I am Proteus. I am alive. Yes,
it's a bit like that.
Yeah,
the computer stops and it's now.
Yeah, I mean that is definitely something of it. I mean, I think between all of us, I think we've all got an aspect of the answer. I mean, I think the Azeroth thing definitely sounds like right on the money. I was going to say the book. I mean, I tried reading the book. That's what I'll say. But it's quite a way off of base from this film.
Really?
Yeah, well, first there's a whole other character, and she's like the sort of the anthropologist who's kind of more interested in the sort of like what's happening on a genetic level, but she's kind of rolled together with the biologist to make the sort of like the Natalie Portman character. But in the book, none of them are named. They're just the biologist, the anthropologist, the psychologist, and I didn't get all the way to the end. Let's just put it that way. It's quite a bit different. I think the idea of a womb or an amniotic sac stage, infection is one thing. I think the whole thing treating acting like a cancer and just randomly fucking about for the things until it gets the result it wants, or rolling out of control until it hits something that it can't affect. I think there's something in that. I mean, just going back to the tattoo as well is the fact that I'm just reading on a website here called Bustle saying, what does the tattoo in Annihilation mean? And they've got a number of symbols. They say it sort of turns up all over the place. And the first time it turns up is actually on Oscar Isaac. And he has it. And then when he comes back, it's gone. And then it's on, what's her name? Anya, the lady who goes crazy. And she has it. And then once she goes into the shimmer, and she's clearly seen not having it anymore. And then it's on Natalie Portman, and she has it until the very end. And there's got to be something there's got to be something in that. But yeah, they're saying that it's got sort of like, goes back to the Jennifer Jason Leigh Dr. Ventress line of almost none of us commit suicide, almost all of us self-destruct. and that you have to destroy something to continue it. Like the forests, like the forests where they, every year or 2 years or something, they have
the redwood forest where they actually need
the
forest fire every few years as part of their life cycle.
Exactly. Maybe there's something in that, and again, it's that whole thing of unthinking nature just doing its business until it gets the right answer. As symbolized by the bear, the bear is kind of like it's progression, but it's fucked in some ways because it's the eyes don't work. So that was one attempt, didn't work. Move on. Replicated Oscar Isaac, that kind of worked, but it didn't quite work because Oscar Isaac went splat, killed himself. That didn't work, so we try again, and this whole bunch of other people turn up, and hey, we succeeded. Here's Natalie Portman, because as I think someone else, I can't remember which scientist said it, but evolution only has to get it right once, but it has infinite amount of time to fail first. And that's the whole thing, try it, fail, try it, fail, try it, fail, try it, succeed. Oh, that succeeded. Oh, it's failed. Okay, but did it succeed enough for a new generation to be born, sort of thing? And sure enough, ta-da! Here we are.
Yeah. Can I just ask? Would anyone like Natalie Portman to play Amanda Ripley in the future?
What, Amanda Ripley, as in sort of Alien Isolation?
Amanda Ripley.
No.
No? Oh, I was thinking that all the way through this.
No. No. For those of you who don't...
Just me. I'll follow that under just me then.
No, you can ask Andy. I'm sure he'll have an opinion on it. Amanda Ripley, for those of you who don't know, is Ripley's daughter, who features in Alien Isolation, which is set 20 years after Alien, or 25 years after Alien, and features Amanda Ripley's daughter, looking for the black box flight recorder of the Nostromo to find out what happened to her mum. And is promised that if you go to this station, Sevastopol station, that's where they've got the black box recorder, and then things go horribly, horribly wrong. I don't know. I think, I can't remember who said it on the Facebook group. We'll go through some of the comments on the Facebook group in a second, but Natalie Portman is an actress who can be brilliant and alternately can also be a complete colossal block of wood. Purely dependent on the director and the writing. Otherwise, you've got, I don't know. I don't think Amanda Ripley's really that well written as a character. She's kind of like a character with like one job to do, which is to get in, find the Nostromo black box, get out, and then be chased around the space station.
It was just an idea that popped in my head. No. The way that...
No, I think it's a good call. I think it's a good shout, but I just personally, I find Natalie Portman as an actress, sort of 50-50. You can either get good Natalie Portman turn up, or you can get Attack of the Clones Natalie Portman turn up. Depends what day of the week.
I love you. I love you too.
Yes. You are tearing me apart, Anakin. I cannot take this anymore. Anakin is going off to the Jedi Council. Sand. Anyway.
So what about an overall... Was it scary for anyone on this? Because I didn't find it particularly scary. I liked the bear bit. I thought that was a bit creepy. But... it wasn't overly scary.
No, creepy, I think you're right. It's dark. That whole idea that the creature that's just killed someone is using its last victim or its essence as a way of drawing in more people to their death.
See, I was sat there going, that's so cool when that was happening.
It's a really great idea, but it's a really kind of a bit of a dark one when you think about it. It's like, well, what place were you in when you thought of that? You know?
Yeah. I mean, I mean, I'm sure Jim's got his own opinion on this, so we'll get his in a second. But it's just, for me, I didn't find it scary. I found it disturbing in the same way as a lot of 70s sci-fi was disturbing. When you used to watch things like, I don't know, like THX 1138 or Invasion of the Body Snatchers, or, you know, films in the 70s had a kind of real nihilistic, not everything's going to go right vibe to them, with the exception of Star Wars. But you could almost guarantee you watch something in the 70s or made in the 70s, you always got this sense that it was always going to end with someone bad looking at the camera, kind of giving you a bit of a wink, going, hey, you know, like Omen, you know, sort of thing, you know, oh, he succeeded.
Body Snatchers end.
Exactly, Body Snatchers ending, Omen ending, Don't Look Now, you know, it always had that. Most of the films made in that time had that kind of slightly off-kilter, slightly bleak finale, and you never got a sense that you were ever safe. You know, not like if you watch a film nowadays, you know the hero will survive, and if they don't, they'll die in such a noble way as to make it a victory. You know, everything's by the numbers. You can pretty much plot everything out, no matter what the film is nowadays, and just go, yeah, I know where this is going to end up, and I know where this is going to be, and I know that everything's going to be all right in the end, even if it's not. You know, in a Mad Max kind of way. You know, you know, the world's still fucked, but Mad Max is still going to survive. But
whereas in the 70s, you get to the end thinking you've just made it out and you can breathe again, and it's hello, no, we're back in there. What's happening? And then that's it. It fades to black.
Yeah, Donald Pleasance will turn around and go at you, or you know, Harvey Stevens will turn around and give the camera a little nod and a wink, and you'll hear sort of like a you know, or you know, Carrie will sort of go, you know, Carrie will die, and you'll see her, you know, see her friend go to the graveside, and out pops a hand. It's just like, no, you never ever ended the film with a yay in the 70s. You know, Christine, you know, anything. There was never, it didn't, you know, The Thing, you know, is a bit of a leftovers, you know, from the 70s. You know, get to the early 80s, 82, and you're still sitting there going, I'm not sure this is going to work out all that well, to be honest. And Annihilation had that same disquieting vibe that you weren't going to make this out. Nothing was going to make it out with a tidy bow on the end.
Yeah.
What about you, Jim? And sorry, I just jumped in there and run roughshod over it. Go on.
Actually, I wouldn't say this was a scary movie. I think it's a weird movie in the sense of not just, that was bizarre, but in the sense of like proper weird fiction.
Yeah.
Of kind of, it had, I mean, like, going, again, there's definite echoes of Lovecraft, but also others of that era who did weird fiction, of sort of like, particularly like Clark Ashton Smith, where you get things that are horrific, like the faceless battle cat bear. But you also get things of weird beauty, like the deer and the flower people. And the flower people are creepy and beautiful at the same time, like the exploded lichen skeleton. And I really sort of like that off-kilter vibe. One of my sort of issues with the movie, I think kind of the pacing was a bit kind of off, and I think kind of some bit things happened very quickly after not a lot happening. It was a bit kind of choppy. And I think obviously it's probably, this film's a difficult sell. And I imagine if there isn't a longer cut, Alex Garland was probably planning a longer cut if he could have got away with it, where you had a more sustained build-up of weirdness and reality ripples. But, you know, what's there is is fine. I kind of like the sort of dreamlike pacing of it. Of the you have like explosions of weirdness, then these long kind of sort of interludes where it's slower paced, and so sort of that sort of mirrors kind of how actually we do dream. We have REM sleep where we have the vivid dreams, then you have NRM sleep where you have lots of dull dreams, the ones where you just seemingly be living your day,
doing your tax return.
Yeah. And that worked quite well. Though I must admit, kind of when it got that lighthouse and kind of actually sort of dissolved and had that floating nuclear chaos and a huge black faceless thing came out, that was actually a moment of kind of really touching on that, the kind of the cosmic terror you get in a writer like Lovecraft, or the nihilism in Thomas Ligotti of really full strength kind of fucking hell, what is going on? I don't know. And it's creepy and it's frightening, but it's also there's a sense of awe and amazement to it. Because it's kind of, this is like nothing you've seen before, and it's beautiful, although at the same time it's creeping you out.
Yeah. I mean,
and I like that. I like the extended dance sequence. Although I did have a slight wobble going, don't you dare go fucking AI on me here.
Yeah, they do a little wave.
That shimmer, didn't it? Like a blue bottle or whatever it is.
Yeah, I love that. It's like the iridescence and the music to that scene. It was a really weird, creepy, sort of like nightmarish scene where essentially she's dancing with this faceless mannequin. But as I said, again, there's a weird beauty to it, and the way it was shot, and the way the music in particular, the way that it was written, to do that with that sort of buzzing tones when it moved, that was really, that's good cinema there.
Yeah, that I agree.
If you hated the rest of the film, you have to give it, those scenes in the lighthouse are bloody good cinema.
Yeah, and it's again, there's a symbolism there with the whole thing of, that when she's fighting it and she's trying to match it step for step, it's basically beating her with her own strength and her own moves. But then when the only way she actually escapes from it is when she runs for the door and it's pressing up against her, because she's pressing up against the door and it's doing the same right behind her. And it's actually the only way she gets away from it is basically by giving herself up, and just stopping and just by giving herself over to it, by essentially saying, okay, I give up, and stopping. That's how she actually escapes. She escapes by essentially giving everything away. She sort of, relaxes into her fate and makes peace with it. As soon as she does that, she's escaped. She's managed to escape from this thing crushing her into a door and beating her to a pulp and matching her moves step for step. And and again, it's that whole thing of as soon as people kind of make their peace, they're both free and yet somehow affected by it even further. I don't know, I'm contradicting myself now. I'm going around in circles. Help me. Awooga. Rapidly approaching wormhole.
Well, I thought on that situation where she was pushed into the door, where because it was mimicking her, she was pushed into the door, and so her clone-esque thing was pushing on her with the same force that she was feeling. And it was just building up and building up and building up until she passed out. And then once she passed out, it passed out as well. But that's the way I saw that anyway.
But then when she starts to push back against it, to get herself off that door, it wouldn't let her go. So, if it was mimicking her 100%, it would have pushed back against nothing and moved off.
No, but it was, that's the thing though. She was trying to push against it, but she felt a force against her. And so the creature would also feel a force against it and then lean into her even more.
Wow. Okay.
That's the way I...
No, that's cool. I'm down with that. But, cool. Okay. Right. I tell you what. Should we stop for the moment? because I think we're kind of looping round into a big circle, but I think we've said a few things. I mean, on the Facebook group, I asked for comments, and Ben Rush said that he was rather impressed with it. Fred Lubnow, who is our other Lovecraftian scholar on, there's Justin Woodman as well, but Fred said, read the book, heard great things about it, and was again underwhelmed. It was okay, not as great as people were saying, but I'm hoping the movie is better. We'll probably go and see it on Monday. Whereas Mike Martin said, as a man from the States, I'd like to extend my condolences to you all if you weren't able to see this on the big screen. Really interesting visual style. The only thing dragging it down was a bit of Natalie Portman's famous wooden block style performance. There you go. Whereas Chris Oster responded with simply a gif of 4 throwing a beer down, going, another! Which I think she rather enjoyed it. Jack Woodgate said he rather enjoyed it. John Campion gives quite a thorough reply, where he basically says, and maybe we'll get something out of this, I don't know, but he said, I like this a lot. I think Garland has yet to make an entirely satisfying film, but he does his stuff. When it does his stuff, he stays with you and keeps you thinking. Annihilation is the first film I've watched in a while where I went back after the first watch to see whether or not the knowledge you have at the end is foreshadowed, and partly just to luxuriate in its gorgeous imagery. I really like the way that some parts of the shimmer is visible, even in shots when nothing particularly odd is happening. Did anyone pick up on the fingers shot behind the water glass? Yes, we did. Foreshadows both the theme of refraction and, in terms of imagery, the moving intestines later. It also seems pretty rich thematically too, where Ex Machina is asking us what makes us human compared to AI. This seems to be asking what makes us human compared to nature. There is also the idea of whether or not we're doomed to destroy ourselves, and questions about the nature of the invader itself. Like Ava in Ex Machina, it seems to learn by aping us. So does it learn by the actions of the people we send into the shimmer? There's also the question posed by the characters taking on aspects of each other, and the body snatchers-esque question of whether or not a perfect copy of someone is that person or not. Not to mention the way it reminds you at various points of Stalker, Solaris, The Arrival, and others without rubbing your face in the visual quotes. Which is kind of interesting. I mean, is it Ex Machina or Ex Machina? But for nature, is that maybe it? Is it basically just a rerun of that? With, basically in Ex Machina, Eva basically just learning how to be a human and then being able to escape. Whereas
I think Ex Machina was, if you think about it in terms of Annihilation, Ex Machina was from the point of Ava, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, but so
it's the role reversal.
Yeah, but also in the case of Ex Machina, I guess Ava had purpose and she had an aim, which is to get out of, her prison and be free. Whereas, I refuse to believe that the shimmer is working under some kind of actual consciousness. It's just kind of, as Jim said, it's just random chaos wrapped up in the sort of nature. It's just doing what it does without thought or form or any kind of plan.
I mean, I'm enjoying this movie a lot more now we're speaking about it, though, by the way.
Okay, cool. Martin Thompson also said he watched the film and really liked it. Sufficiently intriguing to want to watch it again. I'm not sure if it's something I want to watch a third time, though. Some great visuals. Loved the exploding flower skeleton thing and the plants in the shape of people, which was really rather creepy. The soundtrack was rather unsettling, too, especially during Natalie Portman's fight with a doppelganger. Yeah, I don't know. To me, I do like this talking about it, but I don't know if I'm just talking out my arse. That's the problem. Yeah. Thanks, thanks, buddy. Thanks, mate. Cheers.
The other guys should just be thankful they're not sitting in the same room as you, because it's not fun watching words come out of somebody's arse. It really is. It's quite disturbing, actually.
It's my Ace Ventura moment. I'm just pulling my butt.
You got a breath mint.
Yeah. Wow. Okay then. Well, shall we? I tell you what. Shall we wrap this up then?
Yeah, because we could be here all bloody night talking about this.
Yeah,
this is Inception all again.
Oh yeah, let's do 6 episodes on it. No, okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Obviously, if you guys think we've missed something, if there's something we've said which has sort of prompted you to sort of reevaluate the film, or if there's something you want to discuss, head on over to the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/The Black Dog Podcast. Look for the Annihilation banner that I posted up, and post up some more stuff there. If if there's enough discussion going on, maybe I'll do a little mini-sode and stick that on the feed, and just run through some of the comments there. If any of you guys join us, then that's cool. But anyway, yes. So that was Annihilation. Plenty to think about, plenty to chew over, and clearly something that none of us have the full answer on, but I think all of us have a interpretation of it, which I think is quite cool.
Well, the thing is, it kind of, I know some people go, oh, it's just weird and pretentious, but I think it does all hang together. But it leaves you some questions, but that's the point.
Well, exactly.
If you know what I mean? It's not just kind of, it's an annoying trick that particularly literary fiction does. Oh, we're posing questions. Yeah, but you're not answering them. Whereas this, I think it does all fit together, and it's at the end, it leaves you with some big questions to ponder. In a very deliberate way, rather than just going, oh, we'll be ambiguous and strange and people will think it's art.
Yeah.
This is asking questions and leaving an audience with questions exactly the right way of kind of, will we ever know about the where the tattoo came from? Probably not. But, we'll talk about it for years, and that's the point.
Yeah. And it does one of those things which is one of my absolute favourite things in science fiction. It gives us aliens which are actually alien. You don't get that enough. It's always some bloke with a plastic Cornish pasty strapped to his forehead.
Yep.
Star Trek aliens are not aliens. They are just people. They're just symbols wrapped up in plastic. So, yeah, so an actual creature that or entity or alien entity being alien and unknowable is always really, really cool. So I really appreciate that. And maybe that goes back to harks back to the Lovecraftian elements, I guess. But yeah, really cool. Anyway, right, we'll wrap this up. Before we do, let's tell you what we're doing next week. Next week, we're going to be doing a Patreon-supported film. Yes, someone else has decided to spend some cash to get us to watch a film. And they will get full exclusive rights to send a piece of feedback in, whether or not it's written or MP3, their choice. And it is the choice of Zarish Catlin Hallett, and it's The Whole 9 Yards. A comedy, I say that in inverted commas because I haven't watched it, with Bruce Willis and Matthew Perry. He of, what's it? Friends fame.
Mm-hmm.
Have any of you guys seen this film?
Nope.
Jim?
Nope.
No? Elton?
No, I don't think I have.
Okay, so it's a mystery monocle for all of us. I haven't seen this either, though we are reliably informed by Zarish and Will, Phoenix Dr. Will, that this is actually a funny film.
Right.
I will be honest with you. I cannot lie and say that I already have preconceptions of what it will be like, simply because, it's a Matthew Perry sort of post-Friends, or sort of at the high point of Friends kind of movie. So I suspect he's just doing the Friends thing. And it's Bruce Willis being Bruce Willis. Now, whether or not this is Hudson Hawk Bruce Willis or Die Hard Bruce Willis, we have yet to discover. But we will find out by next week. And it is on Netflix. No, not Netflix. It's on Amazon, isn't it? Amazon Prime.
Is it? Okay.
Yes.
I'm kind of hoping for Hudson Hawk.
I don't know. So,
be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, I was going to say, be very, very careful what you wish for. So, yes, so next week we'll be doing the whole 9 yards, Patreon-supported choice of this month, with feedback from Zarish, and possibly Phoenix Dr. Will being stuck right in there. So, you guys, you need to get that feedback over to us next week. And, we'll see you then for that. But before we go, obviously, it's promotion time. So, Jim, tell us what's going on over in Hypnagoria land.
Episode just dropped. I'm looking at the 2 sequels to The Creature from the Black Lagoon. Mm-hmm. And episode coming this weekend is looking at the 4th. I mean, The Shape of Water.
Nice. Well played, sir. Well played. Cool. Okie dokie. And Elton.
Oh, okay. This week on the Shunky Lab, we were talking about the No Topic Special, where we just talk about anything that springs to mind this time round. Next week, I think on the Sunday, I'll be releasing the 2nd episode where we talk about, are we in the future? With all the tech, etc., that is surrounding us. So please pop along to Road 2 Media and find all that stuff over there.
And you've also just released an Earth to the Moon as well, haven't you?
Oh, yes. Yeah, another Earth to the Moon podcast. What one was it? Episode 6, I think. I think we're halfway through our journey now, so not long to go, and then we'll have that all wrapped up as well.
Excellent. Right. Well, there's nothing much for me to promote apart from this, really. And yeah, my Instagram's pretty dead at the moment because I've been creatively bereft. But if you do want to go over to the Instagram, you can find me on Instagram.com/cartoonbeardy, on Twitter @cartoonbeardy, and also the Black Dog Facebook group Twitter, which is obviously @Black Dog Podcast. So thank you very much for listening. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Elton. Thank you, Darren.
No problem.
Okay, and like I say, there's obviously stuff that we've missed, stuff that we might have said that suddenly piqued your interest on Annihilation, and if you feel like, throwing some thoughts out there after this, by all means do so. Drop it in the comments on the Facebook group or on the website page, which is blackdogpodcast.com. And, if there's enough interest in it, enough stuff to discuss, I'll maybe just read out some things on a mini-sode. But other than that, yes, thank you very much for listening. If you like this and you want to carry on supporting the show, feel free to jump on over to Patreon, which is patreon.com/blackdogpodcast. Drop us a few shekels over there to keep things running on. And if you feel like actually throwing us a film to watch, because we've had 2 so far, 2 Patreons, pick up on the Patreon reward to do just that. Pick a film, have us watch it, and get exclusive option to basically throw in a feedback, be it MP3 or written. It's up to you. But head on over to the Patreon site and get on that if that's something that interests you. Anyway, thank you very much for your support. Thank you very much to everyone for listening. Thank you very much for taking part. And we'll see you all next week for the whole 9 yards. Try not to judge it before I see it. I really am. Anyway, until then, take care. Tatty bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Ta-da.
Oh, bollocks to it.